What is up, guys? And welcome back to the Professional Opinion Show, episode 2. I'm your host, Tyler, with my guy, Mr. Cotton. How you doing, boss man?
Hopefully we're through the hurdles of my computer. We had a little technical difficulty, and I think we're past it.
Yeah, I got through episode 1 where we expected technical difficulties too smooth, and we hit some road bumps today. So it looks like we're ready to rock now, though. Right. Oh man. Well, what's been up in your world? I see you got a little weather down in Destin. I know that's something you guys aren't used to, man. How are you guys dealing with that?
It's funny watching hillbillies in the snow. Let's see, lots of golf carts pulling swimming tubes. Oh no! And I'm back. Yeah,
Yep. I got you back.
yeah. I saw the Wi-Fi symbol start dancing. Anyways, dude, what if
Well,
that's the snow? Like
hey,
dead
there we
serious.
are.
Yeah, what if it is? Because
Could be.
we all have fiber now. That's glass, dude, in the snow, and they're not burying
It's
it like
cold.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, we might be
No,
onto
for
something. So
real.
you still got it? It's
No,
still
you might.
there?
No, yeah, like hard balls now because everybody went out and tried to build a snowman and figured out that like, man, that's hard. Like it's not like it looks on TV, and it's not just Elsa coming up and knocking on the door. Like so now there's like these weird clumps of snow in everyone's yard where they were making these failed attempts, and then a couple of good ones. My
They
neighbor
tried,
Donnie
huh?
he's got a masterpiece, dude. It's the OG snowman with the carrot in the face and the whole nine.
You got to give credit where credit's due on theirs. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
easy. I mean, we get snow pretty often up here, but we just recently got like 10 inches in a day, which I don't know if we've gotten 10 inches in like the last couple of years. So it's definitely the year of the snowstorm for sure.
Yeah, but y'all probably just do like normal things, right?
I don't know. No, we try to build snowmen too. I mean, I think we're a little more adept. I think once you build a couple snowmen in your life, you don't go for the big dog. You just like you keep it pretty reasonable. Get you. See, most people could try to shoot for the home run and get life size snowmen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when
you
you go
called
down
it,
for the
dude.
kill. So
Nah,
yeah,
that's so funny. That's like a rookie mistake, huh? Yeah, we
that's
were trying to build a Shaquille O'Neal snowman.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Once you got a couple snowmen under your belt, you start shooting for like the elf size, little gnome snowman.
Manage expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into today's content, want to do a quick shout out to a couple folks who threw out some comments out on Spotify. My guy Trey Lowe, Colton Schneggy. I think that's who you told the story about last week.
Carnegie.
I think he's jumping on saying personally can attest. Shanagy, yeah. He can attest all the Cotton's craziness. Oh my God, go Buckeyes. Let's go. And we got Taco coming in, giving us some love there. So definitely appreciate that. Engage with us on Spotify. It did take me a couple days to get our latest episode up on YouTube. We're now firing on all cylinders on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share on there. And apparently you can comment on Spotify. I didn't know that. So I learned something new. Appreciate you guys doing that. But let's see here. How do we get back to my screen? Cancel. Oh gosh. Let's stay. Stop sharing. All right.
Well,
So for today's episode, we did in last episode, Cotton dropped a cliffhanger for a lot of folks. We had a lot of folks who reach out and say, dude, what is that story you snuck in there about potentially having to go on a mission to go after some guy you knew, some guy you played soccer with? So we are going to dive kind of back in there. We're going to tease that towards the end of the show. I wanted to start out today with kind of that journey leading up to kind of what kind of knuckleheads we were before we joined, kind of what made us decide to, I guess, why did you raise that right hand and step in? And then kind of the journey to become, I think, who we are today, any lessons learned along the way. So we'll leave that teaser out there. Cotton will end with that story. So hang on to the end. But with that, let's go in. Let's hear a little bit about Mr. Cotton as an adolescent knucklehead.
so I'm all for this, but you got to tell
This
your
PG show, by
chucklehead
the way.
story too. I'm not going back, so I'm not going to totally self-incriminate. Let's see, man. So it was the 90s. I guess the best place to start is the same place I ended up, which is as a vertically challenged male. I was like 4 foot nothing. And then when I went over to high school, we come back from the summer, right? Going in as a freshman, you're already nervous, like, because you're a freshman and whatever, all the peer pressure BS that your parents tell you don't worry about it, it's not important, and it's not. But then you still like fall for the trap. So I come back from that summer getting there into high school, and everyone hit this like steroid growth spur. Right? Like everyone's like taller dudes. Some dudes already got little like, I don't know. It's not quite a mustache. It's just like a predator lip cover. And I'm still 4 foot nothing, dude. Maybe starting to bald. I started balding at like 16, bro. But yeah, dude. So I kind of developed that Napoleon complex really fast. The only thing that kind of set me apart from being like a dictator like Napoleon is I loved everybody, bro. Like I wanted to hang out in all circles. I was always pretty good at sports, not good enough for the league or college, obviously, but good enough to get like picked, during dodgeball or whatever. So I hung out with the jocks. Skateboarding kind of got big when I was in school. Like that whole Tony Hawk era like started when I was in high school. So tried to learn some kick flips and stuff. I got Ollie correct once in my life, and then my skating career kind of ended. My mom let me stop playing in the band. I played the trumpet in middle school, but I got to bail on it for sports when I went to high school. Thank God. But I still had all those friends. And then the gang members. I was cool with the gang members. It's the 90s, dude. Like I would say that hip hop heavily influenced my life, dude, in high school. Heavily. Like I said, right, the jocks and whatnot. Vertically challenged people do one or two things in sports, and that's track and field, or some other like golf, or you can't even do tennis if you're short, dude. You'll get murdered. So I did track and field, right? Oh, cross country, that's the other one I was trying to think of. Long legs help there too, but I was fast. So I'm doing track, and I'm doing all the long distance stuff because all the short, like 800, 400s, those were all taken by the actual like athletes with muscles who had power. I just had a good set of lungs. And I met this cat. I'm going to leave his name out. But I met this dude who might be the devil. But he introduced me to, dude, where everything always happens on the back of the bus, right? When you're in school. And I was a back of the bus kind of kid because I knew that's where like that's the don't push the red button. The like it's the Vegas of the bus, right? Like as you get deeper into the back of the bus, dude, things just start it get a little wilder. And so we were leaving this track meet, man, and a buddy of mine pulls out this CD. Oh my god, dude, I'm really dating myself here. He pulls out this CD. I have my disc Walkman, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Do you even know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro,
Yeah.
I had the disc, yep, yep.
You walk by and like tap
I
the
mean, I was
top
in
of it
middle
to piss
school, but
people
I
off
had
and it
that,
skip.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, when you
Uh,
you when you got the real good one, it had, like, the what would they called it something where it could withstand, like, jumps or, like,
yeah,
a couple taps, and that they
yeah,
rated them based on, like, how much shaking you could do, yeah. I
correct.
forget, there was a metric for that, yeah.
Mine was the Walmart version, dude. Like you could sneeze and it would skip a song. My buddy comes over to me, man, and he's like, "Hey, what you listening to?" And I think I was listening to Spin Doctors. It's like some alternative band back in the day. And he was like, "Oh, this is crap, dude." He's like, "Here, listen to this, dude." And it was the All Eyes on Me album. And I
Mm,
thought it was he'd handed me this CD from this guy Tupac, right? And so
Tupac.
yeah, dude. So I listened to the whole album. I listened to the first disc on the way there, and I listened to the second disc on the way back, and I'm like all about Tupac. And I tell my buddy, I'm like, dude, this Tupac dude is like, this is amazing. He's like, I swear to God, dude, if you ever say that again, like I'll cut you. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's Tupac. It's like, no, dude, it's Tupac. It's Tupac. And I was like, well, the album cover says Tupac. If it was Tupac, it's a 2POC, right? That'd be Tupac
Right.
to me. And that was the beginning of the end, as it were, dude. I just ran down this rabbit hole, and that whole that whole hip hop genre opened me up to a whole new world full of clubs and members and that I didn't know about, and quickly got a lot of curiosity in. And at our school, even though it's Alabama, man, and people were like, it's Alabama, cowboy hats, and that's kind of like where it stops. And it's like, no, actually, there's some boys around here that think that they can hang toe to toe with Cali boys and anybody else, on the gang banging front. And we had a couple of buddies of mine on the track team that were like heavily involved in that. The other sport I liked to play was basketball. And I just tell you this, dude, in any sport, if that's your thing or your chase, probably actually anything in life, really, job wise or whatever, if you want to be the best, dude, you can't be the best in the room. You got to get around people that are better than you and like rise to the occasion. And I kind of knew that early on. And I was trying to make the basketball team despite being the smallest point guard in Baldwin County, possibly the state of Alabama. I took a real big blow to my ego because most anything athletically, if I tried it, it just happened for me. And I went and tried out for the basketball team. Like, we'll have a spot for you. And dude, I befriended this cat. We're going to call him Bird because that was his nickname. Oh, dude, I don't even know if that cat's still alive. But I meet this dude Bird, dude, and he's like a giant. And in middle school, he was dunking in middle school. He's a giant there. And then he got to high school.
Nice.
And just yeah, dude, even better. And unfortunately for him, dude, he was one of those same old tired stories, dude, that like, man, he could have been great, but he just could not shed off the people around him and that gang life, dude. Like, he was all about it. So I meet him in the Tryouts or whatever, right? And he's talking crap. And as the Napoleon complex, dude, part of it is that like, you're just a pissed off little chihuahua and you don't care if a damn Great Dane shows up barking at you. You're just going to bark twice as loud or 3 times as much, right? This was the damning blow that kind of set me back for a little bit, dude. I don't remember. These are theoretical numbers, but you're going to get the idea. Let's just say it was 20 people that came out for that tryout, right? You know how many spots were available on the team? 20
Basketball?
spots up out of the 20. 19, bro. People.
Oh my god.
19. So there was going to be one.
Damn.
We all knew that. We all knew that, right? And like, I'm not
Ouch.
saying, yeah, you know where this is going. I'm not saying that like I kind of get what the coach was saying, but the whole time, dude, this dude's telling me I'm like one of the top 5 shooters, one of the top 3. Like I could steal the ball, dude, because that's what I had to do, right? I just had wheels, and I would just come up and crumb snatch people, dude. Just not even people I'm supposed to be guarding. And the coach told me to my face, like, no one hustles harder than you. And he's telling me all these stats of these 20 people while it's just me and him outside in the hallway. Everybody else is on the gym floor, and this is like the day before cuts. And then he's like, hey, top 5 best shooter, top 3, like run around defense crap, and number 1 hustler. But I mean, of course you're the number 1 hustler because like you have to be. Like to stay in the game, you have to work twice as hard as everybody else. And you can feel it coming, dude. And I'm like, uh-oh, this just took a right turn. Like he was just giving me all this sugar cakes, and now he's like, but these cookies are actually burnt. And he goes, and I just don't know, if that's something you can endure the entire season, working twice as hard as everybody else. The dude cuts me. I'm bitter, mad as hell, and I'm walking out. Bird, says something slick to the tune of like,
Yeah.
I told you so or whatever, right? And so I'm like, and I told you, dude, I see you outside.
Yeah.
Dude, to say that he could have knocked me out with the wind from his punch, dude, would be like an incredible understatement.
Mhm.
Shoved this dude from the side. And I'm like, hey man, don't be talking shit, about like I'm out there busting my ass. Like at least I showed up. You know what I mean? And he's like, hey, calm down, shorty.
Right.
Like, this is not, it's not that kind of thing. And basically like this like humble gangster way of saying like, look, dude, you don't really know me. You know I play ball, but like that's your like one freebie, this little shove thing you just did. And the reality of it was like, I can't remember the movie, dude, but it's like, I think it's like Thor or something where the dude comes up and like goes to shove the guy, but it was Superman, dude. Where the dude goes to shove Superman, but then he goes the other way. It was kind of like that, like I go
Yeah,
push
yeah.
this kid, and yeah, and I just get my own force like put back on me as he looks at me like, the hell are you doing, little squirrel? Now 10th grade, walking down the hall, still vertically challenged me. This altercation occurs. He turns and tries to boy up on me, and me being me, right, I immediately pop back off. A couple of, who knows, it's just as much cussing as possible when you're that small, right? Because
Right,
you just
right.
gotta bark really loud, or so you think. And so as soon as the dude says something to me, man, I begin to like go in on him. But to my surprise, I feel this big old arm come around me and like just slide me back. And then I watch as the other hand goes around old boy's throat and he gets pinned against the locker. And it's my buddy Bird. And he's like, yo, the little dude's with me. Don't do that.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, which is like life altering because it's this sense of power. It's this fake power, right? Because it's not yours. You didn't do that, but you immediately feel that like, you got this like warrior who's got your back, and it's like, and the dopest part about it for me was like this dude had zero context of the situation. Like zero.
Right.
He doesn't know if I just like poured hot wax down this kid's back or like pissed in his lunchbox. Like he has no idea what occurred. He just turned the corner and sees that someone is messing with me, and he ended it before it could even start. And I was like, and of course I'm the little chihuahua, so I'm behind him like, yeah, 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 that's my buddy. What do you say it again? Say it again. And so he turns, looks at me, and he's like, come on, man, let's go. And we start walking. And he's like, hey, if you ever like, if that, something like that ever happens again, I'm going to introduce you to the boys, dude. I think he just liked the cockiness in me or the like, won't quit attitude,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah, I
he
bet.
knew as well as I did, like not coming out on top, but still going to show up, and I think there was some admiration with that, especially as, now as an older man, no, this is a kid who probably was dealing with all kinds of adversity of his own. And like, when
Mhm.
you got a lot going on, man, you want to see a fighter, So I think we just
Yeah.
had that like that common strand, if you will, and mentality. And I think he knew like, this dude ain't backing down when like definitely should. Like he should withdraw
Yeah,
and just
right.
like does not have it in him. And after that, man, I started to him and his buddies a little more. And then eventually, as fate would have it, you're out at the city basketball court or whatever at the park, and hey, there's your buddies. And that happened a few times.
Right.
And turns out that every time something like that happened, my buddies, when we weren't outside of school, were willing to go a lot farther than just pinning someone against the locker if things got out of hand. And
Right.
as you can't go to a church basketball league, dude, without somebody getting out of hand, right? Like
Right.
it's just
Right.
sports. You got the pastor over here
Right.
cussing,
Yep.
and it's like, yeah. So we're out at the basketball court, man, and somebody gets, something stupid, a foul, no call, something, who knows, but friction nonetheless. And they start popping off. And oh boy, he turns to me. And it's like, oh man. So he turns to me, dude, and he's like, yo, B, you're not gonna let this dude talk to us like that, right? And I'm like, I'm with the biggest dude I know. A dude I watched get in a fight in high school, right? And this speaks just to sports. And I can't believe people are shocked about this NIL and how Ohio just bought themselves a natty with their team. Little rub. But like I watched Bird beat the crap out of somebody at school, get expelled from school, right? In high school. And then what do you know? The season rolls back around for basketball, and all of a sudden he's invited back, right? He's back in class. Because that's just sports, right? And so I'm with that
Right.
guy, right? I'm with the one in my mind, right? The dude. I ain't worried about.
Right.
I'm in my head, dude. Anybody I make physical contact with is fixing to like take his wrath, right? It don't work like that outside of school. When there's other people that ain't even on the court that are down just as much as you are, you find out very quickly, dude. Things get dicey when when hands just start flying out of all direction. And it's funny, especially when you're like the mouthpiece center of it all, right? Because they started yapping, da 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 da. Old buddy turns to me, gives me this little whisper love tap of like, don't let him do that. And I'm like, hell no, And I just popped this dude next to me, dude, and all hell breaks loose. And like, I mean, I walked away with some bumps and bruises, dude, but like I walked away. And this is like, again, man, this is the 90s. Ain't nobody, you can't, you did that now, dude. Someone's blowing your head off. But back then, dudes would just knuckle up and go for it. And so, and we did. And not, I'm not promoting violence of any kind or nothing like that, right? Like, you gotta remember, we're dumb kids, heavily influenced by Death Row Records. And
Right.
but I'm just being honest, dude. It was like this gladiator moment for me, dude. Like I'm walking back over to like find my parents. My little brother's at the park playing like a t-ball game or something. And here I am on the basketball court with the boys, just throwing hands recklessly. And it was just the coolest thing ever to me, dude. And mainly because and we won, The problem with that is you start to drink your own Kool-Aid. Like, dude, you get a couple of like wins and you start to believe like, hey, maybe I am Billy Badass. And you slowly forget that like 80% of the school outweighs you, has a longer reach, taller, and I start running with these dudes a little more than like my jock friends, and like, it ends up to all kinds of other things I can't get into, but I was like in neighborhoods I had no business being in. I was venturing out to these like myself in some pretty wild scenarios, and I mean bad spots. But each time, like I snuck out and snuck back and made it, it was just a little, you start to believe your own little fantasy here. And not to say that I wasn't a tough kid, but at the end of the day, man, like if being the biggest badass on the block is your goal, you don't get there with 32 wins, 0 losses, right? Like you're going to get your teeth kicked in a few times. Like it's coming. It's just, it's not if, it's when. Like it's coming. My day came with the dude that I thought was like, this is one of my boys. He wasn't with Bird in them, but he was like we were cool. We rode the same bus. He lived a couple of stops, for mine. And like, I thought we were cool. And this dude's just having a bad day, right? Like a bad day. And we're on the basketball court again, but this time at school. I think his name was Jamie. Awesome kid, dude. So I'm out on the basketball court, and Jamie's out there, and he comes walking by. We're just like shooting around, me and a couple of my other buddies. No one from like Birds Click, like me and a couple of my other buddies, we didn't have a high school, middle school. When you graduated elementary school, you had to go across town and like get into a new city, high school, meet everybody new. So, you know, everybody quickly like divided.
Sure, that went over well. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And they knew that we were the like sheltered kids. You know what I mean? That, bro, 2-pack.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we were.
Right.
Jamie comes over, dude, and just the ball comes off the rim. He does one of those. He's a big boy too, right? So he does one of those one hand like grab, brings it down, and just starts dribbling while walking away from the goal and the game, like leaving, right? And you got to understand at this time, like, man, I'm Bird's boy. He's gonna walk off with my ball, and like I said, I sipping my own juice, so I'm thinking like, bruh, you're not. No, I'm not the guy. And so I come walking up, and I tap him on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, man, don't be the hero, bro. Don't be the hero." And I'm like, the hero? You know, are you robbing something? Like, come on, dude. Like, just give me the ball, bro. Like, stop playing around. And he's like, I'll tell you one more time, man. Like, you want to let this go. And I'm like, no, I really want the ball, dude. Like, we were playing the game. Like, give me the ball. And I went to just like, because he's bouncing it, right? And I went to like swap at it, and he picks it up and then tucks it under his arm, right? And just turns and like squares up to me, and he's like, you don't have a basketball. It's gone. Go away. You don't want to do this. Dude, at this point, right? Like, well, now I have to, dude, because we're in the middle of the freaking basketball court. Like, everybody has stopped playing their games. This is outside, you know, like 4 hoops on the half and the 2 on the main, you know, and we're in the middle of the damn basketball court, and I don't hear nobody's dribbling the ball because old boy has just picked it up off the ground, tucked it under his shoulder, and told me like, look, little kid, go away, you know. Now it's like, well, can't do that. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna give you like 3 seconds. I'm taking that ball. And he's like, okay. And I was like, 1. And I just try to grab the ball because he's a big dude, right? I felt 1 punch on the side of my dome, right? Like I felt 1, whole ear ringing, whole face goes hot, right? And I felt 1. They said he hit me 5 times. I felt 1. And I was already like, it was, yeah, the first one, like it was already over, dude. And then he just kept following me like to the ground. And then I get up. Yeah, dude. I get up, walk back over to my buddies, and I'm like, you know, it's that whole thing you do when like defeat is setting in. And I'm like, why the hell are y'all just standing over here, dude? Where were you at just now? Like, you see over, and they're like, bro, no, that's Jamie, dude. He told you, like, don't do that. Like, why'd you do that? He like warned you a couple of times. And I'm like, man, you guys suck, dude. Like, you don't want to play ball. And they're like, well, we ain't got no ball. I'm like, I know, because y'all let old boy just take it. And they're like, we didn't let him take it. He took it. Like, that's how that happened. Like, you must have saw it differently. But like, no, dude. We didn't give him the ball. He came over here, took it, and then said, don't mess with him. So we weren't going to, like, you did that. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost that fight in front of everybody. Now I'm pissed off and I want to yell at other people for my decision. Yeah. Right. And it was fun. It was so funny, dude. Like, I think there was like one girl that like, you know, it was violent. So it was like traumatic for her. So she runs off, gets the PE coach, and the coach comes back, the same coach that picked 19 other dudes out of 20, right? Comes back and he's like, hey man, what's going on with your face there? You know, it's your ears like blood red, and you know, does something happened? And I'm like, no. And he's like, are you sure? Like, I mean, because you can tell me and we'll take care of it, you know, just you know. And I'm like, no, man, nothing happened. And he's like, that's not what I heard. And I was like, well, you know what I'm telling you. Nothing happened, dude. Nothing. Right. Because I did learn. Yeah. I learned that one. That was one thing the boys, Bird and made very clear, right? Like, no, we don't, there ain't no snitching, dude. It's just we'll get our own justice, blah 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 kind of mentality. And I don't know, that resonated with me for whatever reason. Which I still like. I think it's because I've just always had a problem with authority at some level. But I also don't like, man, clean up your own mess. Like, because I found
Right.
out, man, for the most part, like there's three sides to every story, right? Like if me and you had this altercation on the basketball
Mm-hmm.
court, there'd be your story, then mine, and then that third person that was watching who probably has more of the truth if they have all the context. But even then, if they're coming in halfway and they don't have full context, then it's just a third story. It's not necessarily the truth, right? It's just different
Right.
perspectives. But I will say this, in every story, someone made a choice, right? And so that kind of resonated with me like early in life, that like wrong or right, like should Jamie have turned and popped off and just drove me into the ground? Yeah, maybe not. Was I going to let up and like respect that this dude had a bad day and who knows what's going on at the house? I said, no, right? Because I'm the main character in my own movie. And
Mm-hmm.
in my movie, I didn't see how you
Mm-hmm.
walked out the door, that if your dad's a dick or, whatever. I have no
Right.
context of how you got to that bad day you're sitting in. And, I think when you're a kid, I think adults do this all the time, right? We seldomly remember to pause for a second and actually put ourselves in this other person's shoes and try to figure out where are they coming from right now with this, right? Is this anger really like generated in me, or is this something that has been stacking on the shoulders all day and I'm just like our little shoulder bump in the alley is just the last straw, right? And so I feel like when people try to get folks to that place, right, of like, hey, don't snitch, dude. Like, it's not in the negative light that people think. I think it comes from a place of like, hey, man, I'm not fixing to tell boy for punching me in the face. Just like I made the same decision to keep running him down and keep going, right? Which
Yep.
now in our PC world, someone would probably say that I was verbally assaulting him before I was physically assaulted, which I was. But like, hey man,
For
that's
sure.
life on the basketball court. Like, which
Yeah.
again, you made the choice to come out on that basketball court. These are the rules. And
It's Wild
so
Wild West, huh?
right, yeah, dude, it was in Alabama, bro, in Baldwin County. So I got back on the bus that day, and we're driving home. I told you, old boy rides the bus back, right? And then he's making his way to his seat and he stops and like leans down beside me. He's like, hey man, I was just pissed, dude. No hard feelings. Thanks for like not ratting to the coach about da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's whatever, dude. We're cool. Like, I get it. Yeah, bad day. Whatever. Like, next time when I punch you in the mouth, just remember to tell the coach you fail. And and and
Yeah.
I think like I always still on some level, right? Still on some level. Which goes to a better conversation me and my old bosses had once of like, do people ever really change? Or is it just like, are we
Mm.
just carving out the details? Because I still can't help it to this day, dude. I always have to slide in that one little last pop off, that one little last like shrug at authority or whatever it is that's trying to corral me into this direction. And I'm like, no, man, you don't tell me what to do. I just,
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I still can't escape that.
I
And I don't know what it
Oh,
is,
yeah.
even the tiniest level, dude. Kim tell me to do the laundry, so I purposely fold the towels the way I know she doesn't like them folded. Like I did it, but I didn't. I'm
Oh
not
my god.
compliant. I don't know, dude. I've always
Right.
had
Yeah.
that. But so that was high school for me, dude. Like I found that kind of squad mentality and I don't know, just wanting to be a part of something. I found it in Bird's Boys. I found it in his little crew. I found it in sports. I hung out with my skateboard friends. And so I bounced around to all these different groups, but really when I got wheels. right? Because when you get a car, now you
Right.
have even more choices to make it, you know, and I was making some choices.
Yeah.
And so it was funny, dude. I really had this like both sides of the track life that I was living, if that makes sense, dude. Like I could run around with the good old boys, 'cause all my family love hunting, country music, all the most the Alabama stereotypes, and so I could sing and dance and run that road with them in our neighborhood, and then I could get in my car and go cross town, and it was really like this double life, right? And then I get over there with the boys,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden I got my accent's a little different, my choice in wording's very different, and
Right.
yeah, dude, and I was playing both sides. It was very hard not to love because for whatever reason, dude, the really pretty, like Southern Belle, preppy girls loved that knowing like, oh, this dude's a little rough around the edges. There's some there's some shady business going on with this cat, and it helped me. If you know what I mean, right? Like
Yeah.
especially like I said, dude,
That
being
must be a universal truth. Yeah. I mean, I think that's
yeah,
must
yes,
be across the
undoubtedly.
board there.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Well, it's the whole grass is greener, right? Everybody wants what they can't have. Forgetting the rest of that saying, right? Grass is greener on the other side, but it's still got to be cut. The
So hold
and
on,
so
where so connect the dots. So this high
with old
school
boy,
hero, you're on two sides. Well, no. Like, like where did your decision? I guess if I didn't know the end of your story, I would never have guessed you found the Air Force and you decided to kind of go that direction. How did that even come out of this guy bouncing in both of these worlds?
one, a really good ass mom, dude. Like a strong willed mom. Because make no mistake, dude. Like I was that kid that mom had rules, dude. Like rules. And you could mess around and try not to follow the rules. You could try it. It's a good way to get physically harmed or life threatened. But I was the kid, dude, that like, dude, me and my sister would be at the same party, Tyler. The same party, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? You had a house party. You're there. You got, you pulled the hey buddy at the gas station, scored a keg, got a couple of cases of beer. Like you're there, right? And you're handing out these cups. I got a solo cup. I look across the living room. Hey, that's my sister. She's got a solo cup, right? And we would have drastically different outcomes that night. The biggest thing was that she did that I just didn't understand or didn't care to or whatever, dude. It's like, say we've been at that party 3 hours. My mom has no idea that I'm alive, dude. My sister has checked in at least four times,
Man.
right? And we're talking about like pager days. So she ain't calling on the cell or
Mm.
there ain't no find mine and look up see where somebody's at. This is like, it's hilarious that like the crap I do to my own kids and like I made it. We did fine. We didn't have none of that crap. Again, dude, the in my experience, girls just they catch on faster, and she totally did. Uh, whereas I was like, probably, this was my thought process, dude. Which a lot of therapists have told me, like it's a problem and a blessing of mine. Is like I'm only in the moment. I'm only in the moment. I'm not thinking about necessarily like, hey, this thing just presented itself. I don't have that switch that's like, well, I could do this and this will probably happen. Or I could do this other thing over here I was thinking about earlier and this will probably happen. Mine is just like, oh, hey, look, that's new.
Right.
Boom. Let's see where this, door number one takes us. Well, there's 5 doors. Well, I saw this one first. It's shiny. I'm in. So I would go out, dude, with the mindset, right? Because my mom caught me more times than not, actually. Or it's a small town, dude. The town I grew up in had one stop sign when I was there. We got 2 traffic lights now and a couple of stop signs. Very small town. So if you were out and about in the public, dude, like Mrs. Such and Such is already getting ready to tell blah, 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 who's
Right.
going to report it to, you know what I mean? And so I got caught more times than not. So this might be my last like outing. Let's do it. Let's do this. right? Never once was it
Right.
like, hey, let's just have a little fun tonight so we can have some more fun next weekend. Yeah, I did. This is not how my brain worked, dude. It was like all or nothing, right? Which you've known me
Right.
long enough to know that I'm just, that's it, dude. I'm a light
Yep.
switch. I'm on or
That
off.
checks. Yeah.
And when I got on, bro, I was on. I was on every night. I was trying to make a damn small movie. What happened with that, which I think is also too, right? Like, one, this is why sports are great, and I think it's why my mom pushed sports on me like heavily, because like a bored kid is a kid waiting to get in trouble, right? Like, boredom is the devil, dude. And
Facts. Yeah.
yeah, so I stayed involved with sports because, if man, especially you play two sports, you don't have time to be stupid. You got practice, and
Right.
and tryouts, and if your team's good, away games, home, all that crap. And so my mom tried to like really, and plus it was kind of out there early on that my sister was going to be the academic star, and I was going to play sports. And
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't like school like that, dude. I hated it. I liked art and sports, and I was so good at art, my art teacher would let me ditch. That didn't
Nice.
help. But
So,
shout out to Miss Kavanaugh.
so what? If I forget, shout out to moms. What's her name? Is it Alcon? Is that what you call
Big Con.
all Dukes?
Big Con.
Big Con. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember.
Big Con.
Always chatting with her. Yeah. So what? Did she kind of finally like? How'd you finally get that connection with the Air Force?
Like I said, man, I like to hang with all the groups in high school. So oftentimes what would happen is, especially like I said, it only got worse as I got more choices to make, right, with my car, and and what, like, more freedoms, right?
Right.
I was not mature enough to handle like how fast freedom was rolling down the pipe, dude. And mainly because I was not very risk adverse. It was, so I'd already gotten in several fights. I was known that, if it happened, like I was down to scrap, whatever. And all of this, dude, came full circle to doing too much, dude. Just all the time doing too much. Like, I could never hit the pause button and be like, "Yo, tonight was insane. Let me get to the house." It always I would just keep going until, let's see, one DUI, dude. I just came to. I was driving, like I was literally at this dude's house playing pool, and then I just time travel, and now I'm holding the steering wheel. Like, it happened like
Oh
that, dude.
man.
Yeah, it happened like that. Like, I was playing pool, and then I'm holding the steering wheel, and I'm like, so I'd startle jerk, and of course, right when I come to and startle jerk, there's Johnny Law in the ditch, like looking at me. He sees me jerk, boop, boop, gets behind me, and I'm like, God damn, dude. You know, this is the third time like this year, like, and it literally was.
Right.
And let me tell you something. That's how you end up in the military quick fast, dude. You can't just keep hanging DUIs like parking tickets and expect to roam around free. Yeah,
So
dude.
forcibly,
Yeah,
you didn't have a choice.
yeah.
It sounds like.
No one even talked about the military. We talked about Paul the Bear Bryant and Paul Bear Bryant. Like, that's what we talked about, right? It was Alabama football. We
Man.
hate Auburn people. Like, I didn't know anything about anything of the military. Like, it wasn't, I didn't even see, everybody's always like, "You didn't see Rambo?" No, I did not. Didn't see Rambo. Had no idea that Rambo is about a Green Beret or something. You know what's really funny? It didn't happen in high school. It happened in community college. Was when the last straw broke. Right. That was when, like, I don't remember if I think maybe I got in a fight at Mardi Gras or something. I don't remember, but something happened, and I ended up back in the drunk tank. And they're like, "Yo, aren't you supposed to like be in the military?" I'm like, yeah, I didn't go. And because after my third DUI, that was the agreement, right? Was like, hey, well, they wanted me to do the Marines for 4 years. And I had my lawyer, Mr. Sweet. Shout out to Mr. Sweet. What a cool name. He's really good at what he does. But I had him just arrange it to, I got to pick the service. Dude, I literally got on AOL.com and Googled like easiest military thing. And it came up that taking best care of people came up Air Force hands down. So I was like, word, I'm doing this. I'm gonna do my 4 and I'm coming back to Bama. But then I started like looking into it, and you had to take a placement test, and you had to go like to MEPS and do a piss test and all this other stuff. And I was like, this sounds complicated. So I just moved cities. I ain't go. But then Mardi Gras came around. I got another DUI, public intoxication, and some other stupid charges. I think I was peeing when they saw me, so that'll get you some extra credit. And then it was like, okay, you're not even supposed to be in this state. What is going on, you know? And I was like, all right. So then the law came with me to the recruiter, and it was like, all right, here we go. Like this is happening for real.
Nice.
Thank God it did, right? Like
Man.
unsuspected. So, all right, I know we gotta wrap this up. I know I'm over my thing. So I will never, ever, you'll never hear me say like that I regret any of it, right? The military was so good to me. And just to hit on like how quick, because dude, my story's not anything special, because there were multiple cats right there with me doing the same crap. You know what I mean? And it just so happens that it's that whole like it's not what you know, who you know, like that shit's for real, bro. My mom was on city clocked. I damn near built my little hometown, dude. I know I painted every single fire hydrant in that thing. I know I picked up every dead possum off the road. Like I clocked hours every time I got busted. It's like, oh, hey, you're Connie's boy, right? And I'm like, shit, dude, just take me to jail, bro. Don't tell her. Like, just kill me, or like let's all just, you know. And which, you know, I feel terrible now because I definitely burnt a lot of bridges for her, like constantly trying to call in a favor. But to come to back to the beginning of this, like there were other boys running around with me, right? Doing all the stuff and things. One of which I can't say his name because of you know this better than anybody. Oh, my hand came up. This is the tracking crap. But you know it's better than me. I can't say his name and what I'm about to say because then it breaks that classified thing. But one of the kids that was running with us, and he lived in my same neighborhood. Actually, he lived on the street after mine, and his house was directly behind mine to the left, behind my house to the left, in one of the neighborhoods we lived in. And this kid was on the soccer team with us, and he wasn't the best athlete, which is probably why he ended up how he did. I don't know. But dad was, I don't know. I don't remember if his dad was from Afghanistan or he was out that way. And his mom is from my place, right? How those two met and slept together, like, I don't know, but like they did. And they had old boy, right? Well, he was smart, dude. I played sports. So he got I don't even know if I could. Yeah, I think I can say that. He got a full ride, right, to the University of Mobile in Alabama, right? Academic. And he's down there doing this thing. I had so many stories I left out of crap I was doing, dude. But I was out there just wilding out, right? And drawing pictures of Snoop Dogg like this for my final art exam in my community college. and it was a gangster picture too, dude. Kim got rid of it. I'm so pissed. It looked like I snapped a picture. So I'm sitting there, right? Get sent off. Don't want to be in the military. Don't want to, dude. It literally the first 3 years of my military experience, like felt very similar to being in county. Like I hated it, dude. I'd wake up every morning, just the sight of my boots by the door, like pissed me off. Like my day started with piss in my coffee. You know what I mean? Like I hated it, dude.
Man.
Hated it. All I wanted to do was get out of there. And you know how I'm basic, right? Like they try to the mail call. Do you remember that? And they try to call you out of, especially if you got like a little sweet something at home who's like sprayed some perfume on the damn envelope or something. They try to call you out in front of the boys. Yeah, dude. Yeah. All this crap. We're at mail call, dude, in basic. They're going through calling folks out trying to clown on them. And they get to my stack of mail. And they're like, oh, let's see what Cotton's got. Oh, let's see. Oh, Cotton's got a love letter from the Yazoo Federal Penitentiary in Mississippi. Inmate. All right, you want to take this letter, Cotton? I'm like, yeah, thanks. And they're like, oh, you got another one. Oh, this is from Mobile County inmate. I'm like, yeah. And guess what, Sergeant? Those boys will get out one day. Keep talking shit. Like, so I had learned, dude, when I came in the military, I'd still learned nothing, right? I mean, because to play the game, right, and shut up and color, well, that's just street smarts. You got to know when the deck's been rigged, and like, you know what I mean, like bide your time. And so to me, that was the approach I took when I came in the military. I didn't change at all. I was just gonna keep my head low, stay off the radar, do my 4, and get back home. Right? I had like I wasn't trying to make friends. Like I was pissed, dude. Like pissed because I got caught. And that's the way I looked at it. There are other. We can come back to it. I tell you about the Article 15 in tech school, and then me telling them I'm going to burn the whole base down. But but it, you know what I'm saying? Like still same old me, dude. Very much still same old me. Hadn't learned a whole lot. But when I met my wife, actually, when I first met her, that didn't change a whole lot because she was crazy as hell too, right? So when we first met, it was just double trouble, right?
Did crazy together?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We went to ADAP together. But you know what that means.
Let's go.
We'll leave that. Yeah. But so
oh man,
we were still idiots then, dude. And Kim was from she's from Robinson County, dude. They're still burying. There's someone got buried out there tonight. But when she got pregnant, dude, that was the light switch for me. Like that was the I'm gonna get this right. I always knew that, like, because my real dad, bro, that dude has all this back here. He don't even know that that's like a thing, and so having that like terrible example, like I knew all the things not to do, and I knew I was gonna get dad right. So I re-enlisted. That's why I stayed in, right? Met a girl got pregnant, and I'm like, I'm not gonna F this up, right? And I knew the military was the only sure bet that I had going, like to be a provider, Then
right.
The same old me from all high school experience in Napoleon complex, like surfaced up to the top, and I was like, dude, if I'm gonna do this, like then I'm gonna do this. Like I don't want to. I hated my first deployment experience was pretty much just the Army making fun of us the whole time in Iraq. Every time something blew up and we had to go get accountability in a bunker, and they're like, hey, Air Force, the bomb already exploded. You're safe. And I hated that, dude, because I was like, from my past, dude, like, you're not going to talk to me like that, right? You don't know me.
Put you back in
Like,
that same, yeah,
dude, and it's like this defense mode. And so I was like, I'm going to do this for real. So ended up, Kim filled out my dream sheet. We ended up back in Robinson County, where she's from, where Fort Bragg is, or whatever the shit they call it now. And I find out about the JSOC gig. And so I try out for their little hit squad. 2, and you can attest to this, right? Which I found out with any kind of like special operations gig, man, they're looking for the people that like play in the gray. They don't want like you necessarily squeaky clean. They want someone who sees a sign that's like "Do not enter," and you're like, "Yeah, but my mission dictates that I need to see what's behind. I'm coming in." And I feel, that they look for that. And so I make it. I'm sitting out here in Africa, long way from Alabama, bro, long way. Even more ironic in this story, I just remembered this. I bump into this. I'm working with this Navy SEAL Team 7 out in San Diego, right? And so I'm working with this Navy SEAL JTAC, like very hand to hand, helping him with comms and like mostly just doing recon type missions. But we get this one mission that pops, And me and this JTAC are super close because we find out that I dated this chick back in Alabama in high school. He dated her at the University of Troy when he was playing football, right? And so we have this like already
Wow.
like crazy, yeah, dude. So we already had this crazy like he saw me doing squats in an Alabama Bass Pro fishing t-shirt, and that's what like sparked the conversation. He was like, "Are you from that area?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I knew a girl went to Troy," and I was like, "She had twin sisters?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Was it was it this girl, this girl, this girl?" Because I knew all the family that went to Troy. And he's like, "This girl." And I was like, "Yeah,
Right.
dude, I dated her first, bro. How about that?" And he's like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And so that sparked our relationship. Now we're sitting in this what they call the warm job, right? Where you get our meetings from the feds and whatnot. And so this Fed comes in, he throws up the slideshow, and he's going through the objective slides, and they throw this picture up, and they're like, "All right, here we are, objective mobile." And the fact that he said objective mobile and not objective mobile immediately spiked my spidey sense, dude, because every other American that sees that word always says mobile,
Right.
right? It is only cats from my way that see that and think mobile. When he said objective mobile, I was like, I'm locked in because I'm thinking like, ain't no way, because the naming convention usually relates to something in the file, right? And I'm like,
Right.
this is weird. Bro, they hit that next slide. Good thing I'd already had my pre-workout and hit the gym, or I would have shit my pants right there in front of everybody, dude. A grown man just would have just blew out my camis because like I look up and I immediately know. I mean, he's got the whole beard, I sleep in caves look, but like I knew immediately. I'm like, oh my God, you know, and I think I audibly like, oh my God, right? Like out loud. Because my buddy Tom, the SEAL dude, shout out to Thomas Olmstead, one of the baddest dudes I know, like elbow, dude, right into my ribs. I'm like, damn. And he's like, bro, what do you mean? Oh my God. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, dude, you just like kind of gasped and said, like, do you notice, cat?
Right.
And I'm like, what? And he's like, and you know that community, dude. You know that you've been around those boys. You know that community.
Oh
There
yeah.
ain't nobody keeping secrets and like we ain't worried about your ego. Like you're getting called out. You know what I mean? And so immediately, dude, this cat goes, bro, seriously, do you? I was like, seriously, dude, we went to high school together and he was on my soccer team. He's a stopper. He's a shitty one, but he played stopper. I was midfielder. And he goes, dude, you're a damn lie. And I was like, do you remember how I told you I know a girl? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I know a boy too. And he goes, hey, the dude briefing goes, what? And he's like, yeah, I got it. We got to speak on this. And he's like, what could possibly be so important to interrupt my brief right now? And he's like, Cotton's best friends with the terrorist.
No fucking way.
Bro,
Uh,
those cats, those Tyler, those cats, this was just, we're in the warm job, right? This is just a spin up. This is just, we're not about to do this operation for at least 2 weeks, right? We're still collecting intel, all that crap, right? They're just giving us like the warno, right? Like, hey, this is coming down the pipe,
right.
right?
Right.
Those boys pulled me out of that damn briefing. I had to sit down with the FBI for like 3 hours, dude. 3 hours. Like, and then just grinding me. Well, how well do you know him? Where's his? Oh, you know his mom? Yeah, I know his mom. She works at the school my sister works at. Oh, well, how are they in touch?
Right.
And does your mom know them? And yeah, dude, it's yeah, one stop sign, asshole. Yeah, we all know each other. Like, what do you? It doesn't mean that like you know what I mean? I'm not making homemade pipe bombs in my bunk to give to him for his missions out here. Like I didn't follow him to Africa. I just decided to take this way different route so we can link up and like
Right.
get after the man, you know? But dude, they hounded me and hounded me, and then at the end of which is I feel how they should have started the conversation. But at the end of which they're like, well, we just have to take precautions to make sure that like, when it's actions on objective, if you're there, you're gonna like think back when and like, cut old boy some slack for the good old days and let him scamper off, or
Right.
whatever. Right. And I'm like, look, sir, I don't think you understand. One, Objective Mobile's kind of a dick, right? He wasn't that good on the soccer team, and he's kind of a dick. And I have not been in touch with him since. And the only thing I'm going to do is get out of this office, go get my sat phone, call my mom, and see how fast she can get some Alabama jerseys sent here. Because if my team leader's down, we're scooping this dude up in Roll Tide outfits from like, and I'm just gonna giggle the whole time. Like, hey man, life's about choices, and looks like you made some bad ones, bro. Like, dude. Oh, I was so amped, dude.
Bro.
She did too, bro. She sent out. I was on a 5-man team. And she did, dude. She overnighted 5 Alabama jerseys. I got her the sizes and crap, and they showed up. And my boss had got it cleared that, like, yeah, dude, we'll be on the back of the bird, like, on the helo. And
now some Bama jerseys. Wow.
Yeah, because we always took off at some point in time. We always got the objective just for we did like the health screen and all that, and get him prepped for his like interrogation time or whatever. But unfortunately, the story ends there because like old boy got cocky, started talking shit about the main squeeze out there, and he knocked him off before we could get him. Yeah, so he was taking his route, and I think Al Shabaab's still king out there. Yeah, Al Shabaab and his rat pack got him before we could. So rest in peace, Mobile. But wild, right? Wild. And it's so funny, dude. Like I told this, I like slipped this in on my retirement speech, dude. And I thought it went under the radar, and we got to the bar that night, and someone came up to me who like only knew me at my last assignment, and they're like, yo, dude, did you just low key say that you went on a mission to roll up your high school teammate? I was like, yup, that happened. Yup.
Oh my,
crazy,
awesome.
Dude. Isn't it wild though how we end up where we're at?
Oh my
dude,
gosh.
Think of like someone you went to high school with, dude, that y'all like not even whatever, right? Like a sport or anything, y'all just hung out together. And then imagine, you're 20 years down the road, you look up and it's like, hey man, we're gonna go kill this dude right here. It's like, whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, I escalated quick for sure.
Yes, dude.
Yeah. I don't have one to one up that story. But I learned a lot there for sure. And I think I learned a lot about how much you have not changed a whole lot in those stories from when you're young, just poking the bear and getting after it.
I think that's an interesting conversation because I think we all, and you have to, right? You have to adapt at some level or you're not growing as a person, right? So there has to be some kind of like changes. But it's an interesting question, dude. Like, because we can change our mannerisms, we can become more polite, we can be a little bit more patient, but like at your core of like what makes Tyler, like does that really change, right? Or have you just refined?
Right. I feel like too, it seems like also just changing how you channel that same energy, like, instead of taking that aggression against the law or against some other things, I found like you just found some positive ways to channel that same energy and, probably hitting the gym and getting after it, but still keep that healthy sense of
I met you, bro. It's that simple too, right? I changed my game, right? I met people like you who had focus and drive and ambition and like goals, right? I think people sadly enough, right, just don't get that, like, there are some folks, man, like, they're cancer, dude, and if you don't cut them out of your life, bro, they're going to drag you down. You're gonna end up stage 4 and on your way out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
definitely the change
that
of
is a fact.
scenery, the caliber of friends that, you and your brother, dude, like, they're not heavily. It's our whole, like, squad that we had in our unit, dude, like, all that mattered big time.
Yeah,
It didn't help that everyone, higher quality people, still same attitude as me. Like, so there was still
there it is.
some more,
Yeah.
still some more, like, cleaning up to do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, I completely agree. And yeah, I mean, met some of the best people, in those units. And I want to dive deep into some of that in another topic. But with this one, we do need to start wrapping up here. But I will say, I guess in parting, it's crazy how much, and we'll get into my story at some point, but how much I think comparison to my growing up and upcoming as well. Like, and it's crazy now that we kind of found that bond in the, in our unit and stuff. So, we'll dive into that in a future episode. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, we're all the way up now on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, drop a comment. I think that's what we're most looking for, comments. You can comment on Spotify and YouTube. Let us know what kind of stories you want to hear, what kind of life topics you want some professional opinions on. Because I think we got a lot of ideas, but it always helps to hear like what you guys are thinking about, what would be helpful to hear. So with that, any
Careful what
parting
you wish
thoughts?
for. Careful what you wish for. You asked you
Yeah.
asked the
But
question,
yeah,
that
we'll be
this is how that pans out.
exactly. Awesome. Well, with that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.